Welcome to Battle of the Brains, an extraordinary journey into the fascinating cognitive differences between men and women. Have you ever wondered why men and women often approach the same problem differently? Why some traits, like spatial awareness or emotional intelligence, seem to align with gender patterns? Are these differences biologically hardwired or shaped by society and culture? Today, we'll uncover the truth, exploring neuroscience, history, and real-life examples to understand how these cognitive variations shape our personal and professional lives. Buckle up. This will be an eye-opening experience. Let's start with what the science tells us. It's no secret that men's and women's brains are different, but these differences are far more nuanced than popular stereotypes suggest. Let's dig into the biology. Research shows that men's brains, on average, are about 10% larger in volume than women's. But don't be misled, size doesn't equal intelligence. Women's brains often have a higher density of neurons and more robust connections between the hemispheres, which may contribute to stronger multitasking abilities and emotional processing. Gray matter, responsible for information processing, tends to dominate in men's brains, which could explain their affinity for focused tasks. Women, however, show greater activity in white matter associated with connectivity and integration, potentially making them better at synthesizing information across multiple areas. Hormones also play a significant role. Testosterone, linked to risk-taking and aggression, influences areas like the amygdala, while estrogen enhances memory and verbal skills. These effects are particularly noticeable during key life stages, such as adolescence and menopause. Biology is just the beginning. To understand why these differences evolved, we need to look back, way back, to our hunter-gatherer ancestors. Men, tasked with hunting, needed strong spatial reasoning and navigation skills to track prey and return home. Women, as gatherers and caregivers, relied on memory to identify plants and emotional intelligence to build social bonds within the group. These roles may have shaped our cognitive strengths over millennia. Interestingly, while these adaptations served our ancestors well, they've also been reshaped by modern society. For example, men's focus on task-oriented problem-solving and women's emphasis on collaboration and empathy are still evident in today's workplaces and relationships. Fast forward to more recent history, and we see how societies have interpreted these cognitive differences, often using them to reinforce stereotypes and limit opportunities. In the 19th century, some scientists argued that women's smaller brain sizes made them less capable of intellectual pursuits, a claim now thoroughly debunked. Yet, these biases persisted, shaping perceptions of gender roles for generations. Today we're beginning to dismantle these barriers, but the legacy of these stereotypes still lingers. How do we balance acknowledging cognitive differences without reinforcing outdated notions of gender superiority? Now that we understand the roots of these differences, let's see how they play out in real life. How do men and women's cognitive patterns influence communication, problem-solving, and decision-making? For example, women's tendency to use more empathetic language and men's preference for directness can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. But when these styles are combined effectively, they can create stronger, more balanced outcomes. Similarly, in relationships, men's logical approach to problem-solving and women's emotional intelligence can complement each other if both partners are willing to adapt and learn. Before we wrap up, it's crucial to address some common myths about gender and cognition. These myths often stem from outdated studies or misinterpretations of data. For example, while men score slightly higher on spatial reasoning tests, this difference disappears with training and experience. Similarly, women's verbal advantage doesn't mean men lack communication skills, it simply reflects different processing styles. As we look to the future, how can we use this knowledge to create a more inclusive society? Advances in neuroscience and AI are already opening new doors. By understanding and valuing cognitive diversity, we can design education systems, workplaces, and technologies that cater to a wider range of strengths and perspectives. Ultimately, the battle of the brains isn't about determining which gender is superior. It's about recognizing and celebrating the unique strengths that each brings to the table. When we embrace these differences, we unlock the potential for deeper connections, greater innovation, and a more equitable world. The host walks through a gallery of portraits showcasing men and women from diverse fields, from science to art, symbolizing the richness of cognitive diversity. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. How have cognitive differences influenced your life? Until next time, let's keep learning and growing together.